As the Dysart Unified School District continues to evolve to meet the needs of students in the 21st century, personalized learning has become a focal point in helping students demonstrate educational competency while preparing them to adapt for a rapidly changing world. Part of that shift to personalization involves the space in which students learn. The Dysart District is implementing an environment in some high school classrooms, providing a flexible space and giving students the ability to adjust to advance their learning. The flexible high school classrooms have high-top tables and chairs, traditional tables and chairs, some of which include whiteboard tables, as well as comfy chairs and stools. This furniture can be moved and rearranged to accommodate quiet spaces free of distractions, areas to cluster and collaborate on tasks, space to stand and move around periodically, and central gathering spaces.
There's been a unique dynamic in terms of the different classes where they prefer to sit. Some students avoid the sofas altogether, others of them don't. There's been a lot of boys sitting with boys, girls sitting with girls. It's just been really interesting when we give them the option to determine where they want to be in class and how they feel comfortable learning, what they decide.
I have a student who has a lot of anxiety, and so she sits where there are white tables and she makes lists and she kind of organizes herself, and then she'll take a picture of that, and it really appeals to her sense of learning.
One of the primary benefits of this space is increased opportunities for students to collaborate, communicate, and engage in critical thinking.
Some students prefer working in isolation at times, and there's certainly opportunities for that, and I build that in also. But by and large, most students learn better when they're able to bounce those ideas off of somebody else.
It does foster an element of collaboration and a peer-to-peer idea, and I think that in and of itself, that having students learn from each other and learn with each other and how to work alongside has built the overall atmosphere of the classroom to develop some positive interaction and positive culture within the class itself.
The shift to a more flexible environment alone does not prepare the students. It also requires the teacher to shift in both structure and philosophy.
It really lends itself to more of being a facilitator of student activity, what they're involved with, what they're engaged with, and creating an environment where they can work with each other, alongside each other, in terms of developing an understanding of the content.
You do have to have a strong classroom management. You have to have strong goals and organization, and be okay with a little bit of movement and be able to move students in and out of groups and whole class instruction and individual work efficiently. So you have to have some systems in place to make sure that that happens. Just like anything else, if you have a relationship with your students, if you have a clear goal and you have strong instructional strategies, then the students will respond positively.
The personalization movement and flexible learning spaces in Dysart are meant to prepare students to be successful in the types of environments they will encounter in college and their careers.
I remember when I went to high school, all of those decades ago, it was everyone in rows facing forward, and that is still true in some classrooms. And I think that that's not the world that they're going to be entering.
What it does is it lends itself to a model that is more consistent with upper division college courses, where they'll be in a major type of setting, working through problems and having to self-direct themselves through answering those problems.
And I think in the workplace too, it's very rare to be working in isolation all of the time. You might have periods of time where you're working in isolation, but that you do have to converse with others, whether that's digitally now or whether that is working in partnership with other people. And I think that it does prepare them to negotiate how to get work done with others.